Welcome to another edition of The Film Show. And on this week's show, we get to feature arguably one of the film world's most anticipated sequels. Of course, what else could I be talking about apart from Frozen 2? Also, we get to sit down with the cast and crew of the new hit film, Blue Story. Now it's time to share with you arguably the most awaited sequel in cinema history. That is, if you are below the age of 10. Anna and Elsa are back in Disney's Frozen 2, and Chris Buck also returns as director, with a film that's set 3 years after the first film. The story follows Elsa, Anna, Kristoff, Olaf and Sven, who embark on a journey beyond the kingdom of Arendelle in order to discover the origin of Elsa's magical powers and save their kingdom after a mysterious voice calls out to Elsa. And this is what the stars had to say. Take a look at Frozen 2.
We need to find the answers about the past. I believe in you, Elsa. More than anyone or anything.
Is the whole putting us in mortal danger gonna be a regular thing?
But listen, Let It Go is such a hit, and the geniuses at Disney were like, what if we just gave her 2 songs? Wouldn't that be like twice as good? And guess what it is?
The music is really good. I think it's even better in this film.
You know, you learn your values from your family. You emulate your family. You know, or you spend your whole life trying to get away from your family. But either way, it's the central experience that we all share, and I think that's why the movie was so universal in its appeal.
If anyone can save Arendelle, it's you.
Elsa now is allowed to be who she is. Now she needs to figure out why and where does she belong, and that's where we started Frozen 2.
This film is epic. It is so big in its scope. What the team has done is absolutely amazing, but it still has the heart of the first one. It has the emotion, it has the comedy, and the music. But I think when people come and see the size of this movie, they're going to be blown away.
You guys cope with the ever-increasing complexity of thought that comes with maturity. Oh, no, don't you that. You don't know what I stepped in.
Working on this for 3 years, and it's sort of a bittersweet process because it's kind of like our baby, and then it's going out to all of you to feel and comment, and but we believe in it. We know it's beautiful, and I think I can speak for us that we love it even more than the first one.
Yeah, it's pretty daunting and incredible for anyone to try to tackle a sequel to a musical. Like, generally, they don't work, other than Grease 2, obviously.
I agree.
But, of course, leave it to Bobby Lopez and Kristen Anderson Lopez, who just didn't even break a sweat going into this. And I think the reason for that was they knew that they were writing to the characters at this point in their journey.
Yeah.
And they didn't dare to try to copy the first film. They wanted it to be its own thing. And I think that's why it's so successful. And that's why I cannot get into the unknown out of my damn head.
For me, I don't know what you guys feel, but the creative process of doing the first movie was only different in the second movie in that it's the same creative team. Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee and Bobby and Kristen Lopez are so collaborative and so creative, and getting to go back to the second movie, I felt freer and more creative because we all know each other so well now. We spent 6 years together, and so there's a kind of shorthand and a freedom in creating in the booth at this point.
It's such a, like Jonathan was saying, it's such a collaborative process. First we come in, there's a draft without any music, and we kind of put our voices down on that, and then they start to put songs into certain places and try them.
So much easier now that I can read. Lightning round, boys against girls.
Okay, I'm ready. Go. Unicorn. Ice cream. Castle. Oaken. Teapot. Mouse! Oh, Elsa!
There's a different process on both films. So I remember one of the first things I ever recorded as Olaf was in Summer on the first film. But for the sequel, they didn't have that song until much later in the process. And I think one of the first songs that I ever saw or heard was actually Kristen's song. It was like one of the first songs that they had done, which is such an emotional and beautiful song. And then Into the Unknown, I think, was pretty close after. And then the other songs sort of found their way later in the process.
Yeah. So no one here has seen the movie, right? No, obviously not. Oh, some people have. Okay. Kristoff is trying to propose to Anna in the second movie. He wants. That's kind of a spoiler alert, I guess. And it's not going well. It's not going well for him because he's a mountain man and he has trouble expressing his feelings, particularly as far as love is concerned. And so about halfway through the movie, it's another failed attempt at a proposal, and a fantasy sequence happens where Kristoff lets loose singing an 80s inspired emotional ballad. And like you were saying, the animation is sort of like an 80s music video.
I originally recorded a song that never made it into the movie, and you did as well. You did a duet, right?
Yeah.
And so you, like the rest of the process, the movie discovers itself, right? So there's a lot of variations of the film along the way. And it was later on when Bobby and Kristen excitedly called me and they said, okay, we think we have an in as to what we think the character needs in this moment. And I heard the song and was like, this is genius. Once again, it's just so subversively funny and so brilliant and tells you so much about the character without being on the nose.
Has Elsa seemed weird to you?
She seems like Elsa.
There's this voice. Voice? What does that mean? Head for the cliff!
Who's shaking the building?
That's the greatest honor, is getting to work with brilliant composers like the Lopez's and be involved, be there, be at the piano with them when they create a song for you in mind, and they get to know you and your range and your impulses as a singer, and it's just, they get inside of you and they make our lives really easy, you know, and then it just feels like it's soaring out of you.
Last looks, everyone. Okay, do you remember the first time you guys met each other?
My first experience meeting Adina was terrifying. It was to come over and
stand at the piano, and we were gonna rehearse Wind Beneath My Wings.
And I was like, oh, cool. The first time I'm gonna meet Adina Menzel is gonna be like standing by her piano in her house warming up.
We also sang Wind Beneath My Wings.
Yes,
That's
we
so
did.
weird.
Yes, we did.
So how did it feel to first hear your music out in the world?
To hear your song on the radio, it's pretty cool. I had one of those moments in the car with my son.
Oh, wow. What did you do? What did you say?
So this is Mommy, and he didn't care.
When people found out that I was in Frozen, like I'd be in a group of people and they'll go, oh, and she's in Frozen and she sings that song, Let It Go. And I'd always just go, yes, I do. Thank you very much.
Yes, take that.
It was too awkward to explain to them, like,
course.
no, I'm the other one.
Do you guys remember growing up and watching Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin and Lion King? Isn't it like pinch yourself crazy to flash forward and now like kids look at our movie as that?
Yeah, I still hasn't sunk in.
Forgive me, maturity is making me poetic.
The first Frozen did feel like there was something extra special. And this new world of Frozen really expands, and they go outside the walls of Arendelle on this very exciting adventure. It's great to have this group back together because they really feel like a family.
Aww.
Now, from director Ratman, Blue Story tells of the struggles of growing up in a tough London. A story of the hardship of youth in a volatile London housing estate, but also of the all too real and sad issues of gun and knife crime that have reached epidemic levels in current times. Take a look at Blue Story.
Where you from?
From Deptford.
No way, yeah? You know, I actually asked my brother, why do Peck and Beef Ghetto?
If you live in them ends, you're one of them.
Yes, I love this guy.
Blue Story is a real unfabricated story based on how people that are not necessarily from a gang background can end up in gang culture, and I think it highlights the fact that I think it brings two elements out in the fact that you don't have to come from a certain background to end up in to get drawn into a gang and street culture.
You've heard of Romeo and Juliet, you've seen Romeo and Juliet, or read about Romeo and Juliet, about the love between a couple. This is more like a bromance between two good friends, so just call it Romeo and Juliet. Two good friends who both live on opposing areas, and that's the best way to break down. It's about their relationship and how it's stretched from going between living in opposite sides where the areas are at war.
It is a love story, and it also focuses on like the reality of that situation, which would be like there's a post-Cold War in it, and the realities of that situation are not straightforward. So like you can literally just live in an area, and because of that can map out your whole life. Do you know what I mean? So it's a love story, but with very heavy surrounding themes.
You know, I actually asked my brother, why do Peck and Beef Ghetto?
What did he say?
He said, "Cause them man there, they're pagans."
But why are they pagans though? What does pagans even mean, fam?
Bro, I don't know, man. All I know is, if you're from ghetto, you don't want to buck up into my brother in that car. He hates them.
I'd describe the film as a film about loyalty, friendship, and betrayal. The film's about Timmy and Marco, who are really, really great best friends, and they literally fall apart because of where they live, like the different postcodes they live in. And after that, the story just becomes tragic and a lot of things unfold.
It shows you about postcode wars that happens, and how the situation so little can escalate. You know what I'm saying? Just because of like miscommunication or misjudgment.
This is a very, very true story based on friendship and I don't know what you call it, like a breakup between like in a relationship. Yeah, it's called a breakup, but I don't know what you call a friendship. But yeah, like they split up, and it just shows the journey of how something can go from so strong to being so divided, really. And yeah, it's a mad story. Yeah.
Fam, I'm gonna shout you later and chat to you properly, because talking in front of these man is pointless, bro.
Thank you. Like, tell me I went wrong in that, like a proper friend is supposed to.
Come on, man. No, I've got you.
It's a story of one guy who is caught in between two worlds. You know, going to a school in a different area, which is in a postcode war with the area he's actually brought up in. Making friends with the younger brother of a well-known gang member of the opposite side. And it shows the tale, basically what he has to go through in his life.
This film is about like post-Cold Wars. It was big pretty much in like the 90s and like the 2000s, early 2000s, and pretty much now. If I was to describe this film in a few words, I'd say it's emotional, passionate, and action-packed. It's a lot about love, loyalty, and revenge. Those three words describe it the most, man. And it really shows how relationships change when dramatic things happen in your life, and how it changes you as a person, issues like grief and heartbreak and things like that. So it's really everyday things that everyone goes through. It's just we show that how it can, if you come from the wrong background, how it can literally go from one extreme to another.
I can work with this still. Listen. Go on. Yo. On our way to a mountain. On a bench, I over and tell her all this. She said, accent like me. I said, babes, you already know this.
Hey, you already know this. Hey, you already know this. Hey, this party's gonna be sick, man.
I'm moving to every painting once we get inside there. Are you mad? Fuck them colleges. This is our party. You're mad, brother.
My cast has been great. Everyone's got different energies in their characters as well. So with Michael, for example, he's an energetic person, he's a hyper person, and he just brings a different type of energy to the set. Same with Killy. And everyone's just been showing love, everyone's been productive.
I'm so excited for the cast. Like, I look at them and I feel like a proud father. Like, they've all become friends, you know, they're always smiling, they're happy to be here, and I feel like you get that from them because they're new. Whereas if you would have had a couple big Hollywooders on set, they would just be in their process, they wouldn't appreciate it, it would be a smaller set than what they're used to. I know, and I feel like with this now, it's really good, man. Like, I really love all the cast. I'm so happy that we've got them. I feel like they was sent to me. Every one of them was meant to be here. And I just hope you guys feel the same when you watch it.
Just having that sort of energy in the room and knowing that everyone around you like wants to work for the best possible goal is the perfect working environment, you know what I mean? So meeting some of these, like most of these people I've met and worked with before, but like meeting new people as well is always good. You know, making new friends. It's just great, man. It's great. I've had so much fun on this shoot, man.
It's been really great working with the cast because we're all from London, so we have like the same kind of common ground and all similar ages. So it's been like really fun on set and had a lot of jokes.
Oh, amazing, man. I met some wonderful souls on this set, man. You know what I'm saying? Some friends that I know that's gonna be friends for life, you know, and I'm just happy to be a part of this, man.
Hey, let me introduce you to Tim. Innocent, kind heart, just 11 years old. Lives with his mum that died when he was young. His mother's working 2 jobs just to keep him from the cold. Yeah, Tim, he's about to start high school, but he's upset because he doesn't want to go. True, is far from his home, but they'll be going there alone. All his friends from primary went to the school that's up the road.
Here's Marco. Tim.
I knew about Ratman from years ago, and it's weird. Obviously, people might think that, yeah, I'm chatting rubbish, but I haven't been following Ratman, but I had watched Blue Story when, like, ages ago, but obviously by the time this came up, I'd forgotten about it. But when I was re-watching it, stuff like came back up in my head. But when I had first watched it, I was like, no, I'd love to act in something like that. Because the way Ratman does it, he mixes music with the acting, and I just love seeing that. So I'd known of him, but by the time Shiro's Story came out and he started like popping again, yeah, I was just like, I need to work with this guy. Like, I have to work with him, and God just made it happen, really.
He's a great storyteller, and he knows how to capture the minds of his demographic really well.
I think Ratman's USP, man. Ratman's got the different type of narrating that he implements into films, so I feel like that's the uniqueness of it. Obviously, with the story as well, it's not fabricated in a sense where it's adding too much in it to make it too hype. It's such truth in it. It's not all about gangs. It's not all about the raw stuff. You see a story, you see a journey, and obviously with Ratman and his ability to narrate that, I think that's the uniqueness.
Sure, yeah, man. Hey, Leah.
Hey, Timmy. Are you going to Karina's party?
I was just saying, I'm not sure yet. What about you?
Yeah, of course. She said it's going to be sick. You should come.
Okay, well then it's more than likely I'm going to be there.
Well, the storytelling device that we've been talking about, obviously the subject it deals with is so much in the public eye and on our streets every day, not just in London but in other metropolitan cities. So I think it hits a nerve. It speaks to the moment. I think I don't want to say the others that have gone before weren't sort of honest, and I was involved with some of them, and certainly they had an authenticity and genuineness. But and this has all that as well. But I just think it perhaps sort of feels that it's speaking. We know his audience is out there, and they feel they embrace him because they feel he's true to them and their stories, and I think this film does the same.
With films like this, I think there has to be a message behind it. I think there has to be something that allows you to watch it and inspires change. So that was my main thing of what Raps is doing is he's very conscious about how he wants to tell the story. Even to when we're filming, he's like, I don't want to see blood with the knives or when they get shot. I don't want to see blood. I think it's only like once we see it, because he was very kind of aware that he doesn't want to glorify gang violence. What he wants to do is make people to stop and think and to realize what their what their actions are doing and how that is going to affect people.
With the message he's trying to promote in the film, I just hope that they think twice about the young people that are out on the streets, and I just hope they think twice about what they're doing and realize it's not worth it.
All of this time it's been you coming for me. Well, now I'm coming for you.
R.I.P., R.I.P. to all the innocent lives. I hope these youngers wake up and they start seeing the light. And I ain't trying to justify, but I'ma show you what these young boys are fighting for.
Well, that's it from us this week on The Film Show. We have definitely had a variety of films to choose and show you this week, from Disney's animated Frozen 2 to the true crime movie in Blue Story. So why don't you check out these great films and let us know your thoughts? You can always email us at thefilmshow@theislamchannel.tv. Until next time, enjoy the movies.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just find clothes restricting.